G'day survivors, today I'd like to talk to you about inclusivity and including other languages in your DayZ mods through string tabling. So string tabling is the act of translating your text to multiple languages so that your mod can be international. There are two ways to go about this. You can automate this using AI tools or like a string table generator that I'll show you. The one I use, created by the GermanDayZ community. It's not perfect. It uses some automatic translation service that is not very accurate, but it does the job. It's better than nothing. It's better than all my mods being in English. The second option and the better option is to reach out to any of your friends or players on your servers or just people you know to help you translate into the actual language so that you don't get a bad translation. The automatic tools can often accidentally translate something like an adjective into a verb or something. Like you might have shove. One of my mods had shove as text and it was translating into other languages as shoving, which isn't quite the same. It makes the mod feel a bit awkward, but as I said, it does the job, and I still recommend you do this if you can be bothered and your mod calls for it. So I use a tool, I'll link to this below, but I use what's called a string table creator. As I said, it's by the GermanDayZ community, GermanDayZ.d. And then what I do is, sorry if this is hard to read on my 4K monitor, I'll try and zoom in here in the editing. But if I copy this, let's say I wanted to add an item. Here I've just got old photo. This is copied from my treasure mod. Let's say I had an item here in my config vehicles called, let's just call it old photo, inherits from inventory base. And I won't bother defining any of the parameters just yet. All we really need to know or care about right now is the display name and description short. I don't know why it's called description short. There is no description long in DayZ files, but these are the names for your item name, the display name, and the tooltip description. So if you're defining a string table entry for an item in your CPP file, you would prefix it with a $sign. And the general template for vanilla files is capital STR for string table, underscore, and then the class that you're working with. So if this is a config vehicle, put that in there. If it's a magazine, you put that in there. And then the name of the item. And then 0 for the name and 1 for the description. And so what I would do is just copy this without the $sign into my string table, click new entry, paste that in there. I'll turn prefix and postfix off since I've already included them in the name of my string table. If you come up to settings, you can actually predefine the prefix here to speed things up if you're doing a big job. So now if I click apply and click new entry, when I start typing here, you can see that prefix is automatically applied. But anyway, once I've put that in, I can now call this like my item name, add, and then I can click the drop down box here and click translate. It takes a little while, it takes a couple of minutes depending on how long your string is to translate, and it will go through automatically and automatically translate each language. Sometimes, for whatever reason, for me, it skips the third one here. To fix that, just stop the translation and start it again. I'm guessing it's some sort of API connection issue. It takes 2 attempts to connect to the API. Maybe it's not ready yet by the time it gets there with the first pass, but the second pass will usually get it. So what I would do is let that translate all of those strings, and then I would put 1 on the end here, and then this would be my item description, where I would describe what the item does and anything the player might need to know about it if they're curious, and then click translate on that. Once that process is completed and I have successfully translated all those files, I can come up to save as, go to my mod folder, look for the mod, we'll go to templates, data, languagecore, and then we would type in here stringtable.csv and click save. I've already got one in there, so I'm not going to override that, but I will open it up real quick to show you what a fully completed one looks like. And so now if I save that to a CSV file, I can reference those in my CPP file. If I'm referencing them in the script files, for example, here, this is an example crafting recipe. Instead of a $, we need to use the hashtag. I don't know why it's different for the script compared to CPP. I've stopped asking why there are inconsistencies with DayZ modding. You just learn this stuff over time. So what I could do now is, let's say I wanted to craft whatever this item is. I would go to my crafting script, paste that in there and change the $sign to a hashtag. And now that will show up translated to whatever language the player has loaded in their settings menu here. And this applies to GUIs as well, so your in-game interfaces. I don't have a layout file here currently. Let me see if I probably have one here in my mod pack, GUI layouts. We'll go to split UI. You can actually use the string tables in here as well. So you can see my text is set to, and again, we use a £sign or hashtag instead of the $sign if you're using this on an user interface. This will also work with widget.setText. Hashtag your string table. That will work as well. And it will also work, by the way, if you're overriding tooltips of items or doing anything in game. The hashtag and then your string table is how you use that translation in game. Hope that helps. Check out the link below for the string table tool. It's really handy. You can even do batch translations, so you can have a whole bunch of translations in there and just run it overnight when you're sleeping or when you're not using the computer, and come back and it's all done.